Look, I realize that it's at the same time as the Spick and Span show, so I apologize for that. I wasn't trying to do that, by the way. So I know that they also are doing some whatever because of you know them winning World Cup and the series 3 times in a row. So congrats to Dynasty for that. Um, but yeah, so I guess you guys know how this goes. Just gonna go through, clean my stuff out from World Cup and um, just talk about paintball and talk about what I guess off-season tips is something that we can do. I am still a science teacher. Yeah. Um, so um, so yeah. So basically, I guess just to set the record straight again, because some people are still thinking like the channel's going somewhere or whatever. Um, uh, so uh, Oh, don't worry about it, Nick. It's all good, man. So what was I saying? Um, so yeah, so ultimately World Cup, it was good. There was some weird stuff that kind of happened with the Saints, but I won't go further into that. But oh, I have a piece missing. Just realized that. Um, so yeah, so with regard to that, I mean, just some weird scheduling stuff is all that happened. So it is what it is. So I'm appreciative to Ruthless Factory for picking me up and letting me jump in, literally like right before World Cup. So that was really cool for them to do that. So thank you to them. Shout out also to AG Media, by the way. So AG Media, I already mentioned it, but we're going to be doing something with. He was filming the whole weekend at Cup, so be a lot of be some cool stuff coming out from that. So I guess just make sure that you are subscribed and like and comment and all that fun stuff. Hey Jay, so yeah, so I don't know. Of course, like usual, guys, put comments down in there. Is paintball gear expensive? It can be, but it doesn't have to be. I was just gonna say, put questions down in there. So with regard to paintball, I guess it's just like any other sport. Like you can go for the crazy top of the line stuff if you want to, but if all you're wanting to do is just go play on the weekend and have some fun, like why? You don't have to go and do all that. What you can do is just go and find some equipment that is used or like I mean there's a lot of mid-range guns that shoot really really well. 170R does shoot pretty well. I'd shot a was it the R? No, I can't remember. It was one of them. But yeah, so it was doesn't have to be expensive basically. Like I shoot a DSR. And I mean I like it. It's a really good marker and just shoots really well and does exactly what it's supposed to. If you want to go spend a bunch, I mean there's a lot of options out there too. So you're able to do that. Oh, I don't know if you guys caught it too, but I was able to jump up in the booth with Vince from Let's Talk Paintball for the women's forgot a piece for the women's NXL, so WNXL. So for one of the matches, we had talked about doing some more, and I'll be honest, I was just watching watching games. I mean, so the thing with making it a little bit cheaper is one. I mean, if you have some sort of a deal that you can work out with your local field, and also you don't need to just like pump paint. Like you don't need to be shooting a whole bunch. I think even Blake Yarber started off doing more like pump and all that, and now look at him. He's one of the best center players in the world. Just a really really great paintball player. So yeah, so it doesn't have to be expensive, but if you want it to be, you can. It's kind of like our car's expensive. Like not necessarily. It's just a matter of okay, well, how much are you willing to put into it? Oh, thank you, Seth. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I guess we can talk World Cup. So It looks like, unless something really weird happened, that Sacramento DMG will be dropping to semi-pro. Now, if they're actually going to go to semi-pro, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's going to be something that they have to decide, or have yet to decide. That is. So yeah, I guess we'll see. I think that they'll do well in semi-pro if they drop back down, but it's tough. I mean, like you fight for a long time, and DMG fought their way to pro, stayed in pro for a little bit, and then for a couple years, and then they drop. So it is what it is. It's just it's cutthroat. Like I think even who was it? Jake Edwards was saying like, yeah, there's no easy games in pro. So it's like all the teams are good. So for that, it's just it is what it is. So Tsunami, with that whole situation, they were invited to come up. So they had one out of the Latin American series or whatever, or they had a tournament down there, is my understanding. So they just got invited. So it was cool. I mean, like I actually, tell me what you guys think. I thought it was pretty cool to have the like Champions Cup or whatever it was that they were officially calling it, but having all of these other teams come up and uh, go and represent. I mean, look at Tauntauns did amazing. Like they got top 4. So for them to do that and just be a constant force, like that was really cool to see. Am I going to be playing with the Saints? So the plan is to be done with pro. Like I had mentioned, like I'm not going anywhere with paintball. It's just, like it's tough. Like I have, I'm sure you guys have seen the vlog. I have my 2.5-year-old, and then I have my 7-month-old. I also work a full-time job, so it's like I never got paid for playing for pro. So it's just one of those things that like I wasn't on any of the teams that guys are getting paid. As far as I know, maybe there's some guys that were getting paid and I just didn't realize it. But yeah, I should probably check to make sure I got this all. Okay. So yeah, I definitely think that some people slept on the European teams. I'll be honest, I was one of them. I didn't think that Lucky 15s were going to do that well. I mean, for them to come out, when I saw the scores that they beat Legion, I was like, what just happened? So that was really, really cool. And yeah. But with regards to like with me for oh yeah, you know how it is then, Jay. Yeah, it's just one of those things that like it's a very formative time for my boys. Like it's not my job. It's something that I love to do, but at the expense of what, So I'm not leaving playing. It's just playing at the pro level, and also trying to be a good dad is not easy, especially when I work a full-time job. It's basically like having 2 full-time jobs. So it's just like, yeah, it's just not a not an easy thing to do. Get on the Ruthless Factory team. I mean, I could probably try to talk to them and see about if they have any codes or whatever for Ruthless. So I don't know. Maybe Ruthless himself will jump on here. If you guys, I don't know if well, yeah, people know. If John jumps in, then cool. So if he wants to do that, I'm completely fine to do that. But yeah, thank you so much to them. I know I had said that already, but it's just cool to be able to jump in and them have a lot of faith in me, and they were like just appreciative, and definitely had the right mindset going in. I think that they understand that it's going to be an uphill battle. Semi-pro is no joke. Like it's not an easy division, and to jump in and and try to perform is very, very difficult. So yeah. So I mean, will my boys want to play down the road? Maybe. I don't know. But it's yeah. I still have the best how to play. Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's see. What's your thoughts on the World Cup layout after the event? So I am actually, so it's funny you bring that up, Jay. I'm actually gonna be doing a, so that raw footage, I didn't so the reason why I don't do the breakdowns anymore, or I didn't do the breakdowns before or after, was because I didn't want to basically tell other teams what it is that we found. So I noticed that after playing and going, "Oh, wait a second, if I do a whole breakdown of the layout after the event or after playing it, then I just told all these other teams what it is that we found." So that's why I stopped. So what I am going to do, and what I'll probably keep doing, is especially like the ones that I'm not playing the event, because I'm still going to be playing some of the events, but with the World Cup layout, it's good. I would not expect to go into the snake off the rip. That's grab that. So you can't go to the snake off the break. It's not going to happen. Sorry, I take that back. It's hard to make the snake off the break. It's not impossible, but it's just very, very difficult to do that. So yeah, what I would say is having some guys delaying and then breaking out is great. Expect a center. It's very easy to get up into that center and cause a lot of havoc. That's the kind of stuff that I like to do. So yeah. How is the DSR? DSR is fantastic, man. Like I'm not even saying that as like some fanboy or whatever. So when I was still with the Kings and before the Kings went with Lux, after the contract was up with MacDev, it was like, okay, well, we're talking to people, and I think everyone knew that. So it wasn't some secret, but someone had actually lent me a DSR to test out, and I was like, "Ooh, um, this is really nice." So it's a super smooth shot. Um, yeah, I mean, really, the center wall it's strong, but you can bounce into there. Austin, I already gave you a shout out, so you don't have to check in on me. Where's my video? um, get through clotheslined. So I did see it live. If you're talking about the one with Oliver and uh, and Chad, so that was good. I've done that before, so like it's not fun. So like if you just get wrecked, I mean, I one of my old guns, I had a scratch down the side because I collided with someone. So yeah, and then actually, so this scar that's there is from one of the guys on Fit. So when we had practiced them, I think his barrel or whatever went into my glove and it like ripped the skin. So I literally like flipped the flap of skin back. This might be grossing some people out, sorry. And just kind of like taped it up or whatever. And yeah, now I have like a weird little thing. So so yeah, so if you are playing that layout, I would say just double check the center whenever you're moving up. It's not a given that the move is open, just because that center can shoot both sides, and cut up both sides. Let's see, what improvements would you like to see from the NXL for next year? I So reffing comes to mind just because like I had a bad experience, but it wasn't like every single match we had a bad call or something like that. I'm sure if we went back and watched, you could find some. So I don't want to be that guy, but I mean, any improvement to reffing is always a good thing. They need to have some sort of contingency in place for like storms and all that, with regard to parking. So I talk about it. You guys will see the final thoughts video on Thursday. Um, uh, 3-point system. Oh, their points. Oh, sorry, their point system. um, so I'm not opposed to that. What I would actually really like for the NXL to bring back is the penalty box. I would love to see that. Yeah, parking was terrible, and I think it's just partly just due to, I mean, the storm. Like, there's nothing they can do about Mother Nature and all that, but it's not a good thing when my wife is like, "I'm sorry, but we've been driving around um, uh, for an hour." And like our match had already started, and she was nervous that she wasn't going to be able to find parking. Luckily she did, but it was just like, it was a nightmare. Like, I parked across the street Not at the Gaylord because I ain't got money like that. But across the street on the other side, and just was like, I hope they don't start towing people because that's not going to be good. Yeah, there were people that were getting stuck. So that's never a good thing. But yeah, I actually really would love for them to bring back. Oh yeah, that's not good. Parking and standing water. I would love for them to bring back the penalty box. So the thing that I don't like with the 1-for-1 system and 3-for-1 or 2-for-1s, things like that, is just the fact that, and I was actually talking with another pro player before. It's you could actually this is before he played with a different team. Um, so he was like, "Yeah, if we have 5 alive, I could actually go get a major and still have 2 guys to hit the buzzer." So I don't like that system. I think it just if you know your body count, you know what they have, it's like, well, I can just cheat and some of my guys are still gonna be alive, so I can just run through and go do this. I don't like that. I think that the penalty box is really good just because if you don't get back in time, so there's the 1 minute for minors. And then I think they were doing was it 2 or 3 minutes? Um, and if you lost the point, the minor came off, but you had to get in the box first. And it was always just fun because when the box time was coming down, you would see that, and you could just post up and just wreck people. Uh, yeah, well, I mean, it's tough because it's the rules, right? So it's kind of like it's messed up, but like you see like corporate America, there's companies that might even leverage out like, okay, well, we're gonna get this fine, but we'll make this much money. So I'm not saying I agree with it, but it is something that someone could do. And I won't say who that player was. It's someone that is still playing pro. So yeah, it's just one of those things that's just like it's just putting yourself in a bad situation. I would love to have halves back. It's just cost. It's very difficult. It's already expensive to have a successful pro team. So to have halves as well would just make it ridiculous. I would love to have that just because it's great. I think the mercy system is good. It's just yeah, I guess it can kind of get boring sometimes, but even with that, so with that 3 or 4 point deficit, with there being um, a mercy of 6 in pro and 5 in semi pro, you have time to come back. Like it's definitely possible. And even if you guys go back and watch, because I was watching it at our rental house. If you watch the distortion and uh, just talked about playing the system, distortion and PB Fit. Fit came back and then ended up winning in double overtime. So yeah. Um, so get this all back in place now. All right. Where did the cap go? Oh no. Use it to your best advantage. So yeah, so it's I would love to see them come back with that. Let me clean the outside of this now. And let's see. I really want the NXL to stick with some sort of system for this is what the color shell paint you're allowed to use. I think it's really ridiculous that I've heard that they want to, all right, everyone use bright shell. And then I see some people uh, that are doing like a blue shell or purple or silver. Like that was stupid when GI did that. I don't have any paint sponsors now. I can say whatever I want. So that was really ridiculous because it's just like, yes, that is technically a brighter color, but HK had a bright pink shell. Like that kind of stuff helps with the webcast. Also, it looks great on video because then you can actually see what the person is doing. But the you have these other companies that, like I saw ProShar had their gold shell, and then GI had the purple again. So it's just like, well, guys, what's the point? And then HK, what was it? they had like a dark blue shell. So it's like the whole point of it is you want it to be level. So it should just be okay. You can have like a pink, gold, or some other brighter color shell, orange. So those three still have a yellow fill, but have it where you have those things in there, and that's going to be good. So local leagues, that's whatever. I'm just saying or actually no, actually all tournament leagues should use that because what happens is, let's say like when I was with the Saints, we were shooting HK. Well, if we go to HK and they are shooting that, and then we play against a team that is shooting ProShar at World Cup, and ProShar is a gold shell, well, technically we have a slight advantage because it's a little bit harder to see that ball coming at you than the gold shell. So if you have it where there's a standard of these are the different colors that are allowed for your shell, then that helps just everyone is at the same level. There's no special differences. Now that companies can still do their, you know, proprietary whatever shell ingredients and all of that stuff, but to have it where one company is doing what they're supposed to and then others aren't. I don't know. I hate that. I just think it's just kind of stupid. I don't see a reason for them to do that. So that would definitely be something I would say Tom and everyone else need to get on. Um, uh, and I have no issue with different companies having different colors. I mean, like, was it evil is like a red shell? I would even be fine with a red shell. Like that kind of stuff is fine. It's just it was that okay, if you saw certain colored shells coming out, like you would kind of know what that team was shooting, but y- have your logo on there. I don't know, like just have something. But yeah. So yeah, will DMG go to play semi-pro? I guess we'll have to see about that. I want them to keep that promotion and relegation thing. What I think would be really interesting though is at the end of the season, what would be really interesting is um that the bottom ranked pro team at the end of the season would play the top ranked semi pro team. Now, what I think would be interesting is that if uh the bottom ranked pro team was able to put like money on the line basically and just say like, okay, we want to challenge you for our spot right now, but they have to put up a certain amount of money. If they lose the pro spot and they lose that money, something like that. I just think it'd be really interesting to have, okay, who really deserves to stay in pro, or, who really deserves whatever. And if the pro team is already going to be folding, they can just say like, yeah, we're not going to be doing that, or they just don't want to put up the money, whatever it might be. But I think it'd be really interesting if they did, yeah, have some more skin in the game where, okay, the semi-pro team needs to beat the bottom-ranked pro team to be able to move up to pro. When they did the challengers and champions division, I always thought that would be really good. That the bottom two that were supposed to drop and all that. Um, and yeah, I mean, hey, I really like that Notorious won. Fantastic for them. They did fantastic. I thought Fit was going to take it, but Notorious just did a very good job being able to cut them up. And great for them as well. Like they were able to go to Europe as well, yeah, and do that. But I think it'd be interesting. It would make a very interesting match that a lot of people would be watching also, where you have, in this case, let's say it was DMG and Notorious. So Notorious just won, and DMG has to be there, and they have, okay, we're gonna in one more hour, they can have some other finals match in between. Okay, we're putting down this money, but they need to do it right then and there. And if they lose their spot, it's kind of like a welcome to the pros for the semi-pro team. They get like a little bit of extra money, and also the pride of knowing that yes, we deserve to be here. Um, so yeah, it would just be interesting if they did something like that. And I'm literally that's just off the top of my head. So we'd have to see what they would do, but I think it would be a lot of viewers because that would be a lot of real and intense matches for that. Um, but yeah, so I think Notorious should do okay. Mark and them do a pretty good job with that organization. Um, Oh, yeah, going to pro definitely costs more. Uh, oh, I didn't know esports did that. That's interesting. So I think what's good with it is you can prove that you deserve to be there. Um, for both sides. So you have the semi-pro team that's showing that yes, we deserve to be here, but then you also have the pro team saying like, no, 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 we're gonna put down money that we believe that we are the ones that deserve to be in this spot. And then if they lose, it's like, all right, well, you have to fight for another year. Um, or they can just say like, no, we're not going to put down the money, um, something like that. I don't know. So they would just have that option. But yeah, going back to Notorious, I think that they'll do pretty well. I think that they have a good organization. They've I think been top level for a little bit now with whatever division they've been in. And Mark runs a good program apparently. So props to them. Um, Now will they be a top level team? I don't know about that. But they looked pretty good. So they looked pretty good at the finals. I don't know if you guys watched that match. When I watched Fit and them play in the finals, I feel like they did a pretty good job. So yeah, one thing that I did think was really cool with Cup that they need to keep expanding is the youth division. So that's always really cool to see those kids go out and fight. It would actually be really cool if each each pro team had their own like youth whatever or like they for World Cup or something like they get paired up with a pro team or some pro players to help with coaching, kind of like the combine, how they do that stuff. But I don't know, just it'd be something cool for them and something cool for the pro guys to go in a way that they can give back. Um, uh, Recruit some more. Yeah, they do need to recruit more players, and that's one of the things that someone brought up with even like the WNXL. Some people kind of um, are down on the NX or WNXL for like a women's division. I look at it and see there's 8 female teams that are playing and playing the 3-4 times a year at the events and putting in work. So I think that would be fantastic to have it expanded. um, I mean, the ideal situation again would be kind of like the NBA. Like they have the WNBA and the NBA, so you have a lot of um, uh, like the sister teams. I don't mean it in like a sexist way, but like literally a female team. So there's a lot of them that all have that. It would be interesting if they did something like that with all the pro teams. I just don't know how it would be run, having 20 pro and then 20 pro female teams. I don't know if there'd be enough players, but that could be something that draws more people in. I Look, I would be totally down to go and do that. I've jumped in and coached before, and I think it'd be really cool to go and do something like that. So, technically I'm retired now, but I would I would go and do that for sure. So let's see, what was some other things? So I know that so pro for next year, I haven't heard anything about them expanding or whatever, which would save DMG. Um, uh, they they need to recruit some more. I mean, hey, you'd be surprised. Look at the Hurricanes. Some of those guys. Wait, no, none of them had played pro before. I don't think, and they did fantastic. So my stance has kind of become if you do your job and you do it well, it doesn't matter what team you play. And that's something with the Hurricanes that Mike Bianca, their coach, he just breaks everything down, and it's just like one of those like great coaches that one they also just have a great pit. They don't flip out whenever there's some issue that happens, but they are kind of looking at like what is it that needs to be done. So I don't know. I think Notorious, if they come out and they just are like, oh well, we won semi-pro, so we're gonna go and handle. I think if they take it seriously, they could be good. But I think right now it's just going to be what happens in the offseason. Do they keep everyone? Like I know they grabbed Ivan from DMG. Funny enough, I don't know if they took him. Sorry, I don't mean that. I don't know if he left or if DMG cut him. I have no idea, no clue at all whatsoever. But it's one of those things that we'll have to see how they do in pro. But I think they do have some decent funding, so that helps. Um, so for them to be able to go and do that stuff, it's all good. Um, so let's see. Um, oh, I'm curious as to what you guys think. All right, so since Oliver came back, I don't know if he's going to stay. Here's my opinion. I feel like Greenspan is the goat. I don't know that um I don't know that Oliver is the goat anymore. Um oh dude, that'd be so much fun to go to Central Texas. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, we could um definitely go and set something up for sure. Um yeah, I think it's Greenspan. I think just the way that he plays, it's incredible. Um I I think I think Greenspan is just more technically. I mean, he's been doing it longer now, because Oliver, I don't think, was really playing. Um, yeah, he just all right, so you all agree. And Fuse, did I move to Die? I mean, I'm sticking with Die right now. Who knows? I don't know. Like I'm kind of just my own person now. So depends on if there is some company that wants to partner up or whatever, or I go shoot whatever. Like I don't know. Die is just one of those companies that I have some friends that are in with Die, and they were just nice enough to support me. So I mean, for the foreseeable future, definitely go and play with Die equipment. Yeah, the DLS shoots good. Like I think it's just one of those like um uh, it's snappy, but it doesn't have any barrel rise. It's really weird. So it kind of has like a crack kind of feel. I not even a cracking. It honestly kind of has like an axe kind of feel, which I know sounds bad, but there's no barrel rise. Um, uh, yeah, the GT2, I mean, it felt good. Like I was able to do the dry fire thing. I wasn't able to shoot any paint with it, but yeah, I think it's cool. And also, if you want to fly me out to New Zealand, I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd, so I'd love to go over there and play paintball and then go on the Hobbit tour. So fly me out. um, so can I explain what happened with the Saints? So there was just some weird scheduling stuff that came up, and uh, that's all I really want to go into with that. Um, I appreciated, them for bringing me on, and I hope that I was a help to them. But yeah, feel weird not being all. Yeah, yeah. Go watch some of the old stuff. Oliver, incredible paintball player. I just feel like now Greenspan has taken over as the greatest of all time. Just because of the way that he pulls stuff out. I mean, Archie would even be up there, the stuff that Archie does. Like that whole team is just nuts. Like just how you even decide to put who goes on the field, I don't get. Like I like, how do you pick between like, okay, do we put out Yosh or do we put out Alex Frazier? Like, how are you gonna do that? Like it's not an easy choice. I don't hey, more power to Skinny Kevin, because I don't know if it's just strictly analytics that they're going off of, or what, but it's difficult. But yeah, so yeah, again with the whole thing with the Saints, like I appreciate them for picking me up and for being able to play with them. Like I appreciate what they did, and it was just a weird scheduling thing that came up. Clearly God had a different plan. So I mean, it is what it is. And I, again, like I had mentioned before, I appreciate Ruthless Factory for picking me up and treating me like family, like from the get-go. So I appreciate them for that stuff. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think of what other weird things might have happened at World Cup. Um, so yeah, I do apologize with on Thursday. It seems like he picks who has, and Yeah, I didn't know if I could talk about that, but I guess if someone else knows about it. Yeah, Kyle had, messed up his back or something. So and also, I don't know how effective he would have been in this snake. Not saying that he can't play. That's not what I'm saying, because Kyle can play some ball. But I think because he can't just go right off the rip easily, um, I think having a gun like Archie that can then fill out is a good choice. But Kyle was a great sport. Like, he's still geared up. I saw him there on the sideline geared up and was just helping out as much as he could. So I mean, he's just as much a part of the team as anyone else. But yeah. Say they separate and try. um, I mean, hey, uh, yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. Yeah, Chad was still getting in the snake though. That dude's stupid fast. It's kind of annoying. So the semi-pro team that got bumped up was Austin Notorious. So they moved up. Yeah, Billy playing up the gut. I was joking around. Actually, Austin was sitting next to me, I think, in the grandstands, and just like, oh, Billy is standing up. Like, this is probably weird for him. So yeah, so he probably wasn't used to that kind of stuff. Um, Trying to look through the chat here. Yeah, but I think that also goes to show though, like even like Goldman can do great down the Dorito side. So I think if you're a good player, you should be able to play anywhere. You can have specialties, absolutely, but I think a good paintball player is someone that can fit into any of those roles. Like, I don't like playing the snake, but I'll get in there. It might be a little bit slower than someone like Chad, but I also haven't been playing the center or the snake that long. Like, it's not a position that I usually play. But just as a thing for you guys, especially if you're playing against a team that is maybe a lower division than you, or you're just kind of trying to jump out there and just go get some points. Don't make it where it's easy for yourself. If you don't play snake, go and play the snake all day. Like, go and do that and challenge yourself. Put yourself in bad situations and try to fight your way out of it, because that's what's going to help you as a player. Then when you're playing against people that are better than you, absolutely really polish that spot that if you're more Dorito player or center or snake, whatever, polish that. Make sure that you're ready for that. But I also see or had seen before. If you guys don't know Mike Paxson, I remember when he was with the Ironmen, I went and played with him at some off weekend, whatever, and like, he was in the snake. He plays the three. Like, he's not a small dude, but he dove into the snake. And it's just one of those things that you have to be ready for any situation. So when you do that kind of stuff, like, okay, I'm gonna run and gun to this pin, or I'm gonna do this or whatever. Um, I think the pros. Oh, let me go up a little bit. Expecting level. Yeah, level not doing well was definitely a surprise. I don't know if it was just a weird combination of like delays or something. I don't know if they had issues with that. I'm not opposed to a paint limit. I kind of like 4 pods in a loader. Like, I think that that's good. I know I talked to Alex Goldman before, and he said when he played in Europe, he really liked, I think it was the M500, just because he's a very like go at them kind of player. So I'm all for it. If you guys watch me play, I like to go. I think my dad even said that. Was like, yeah, you just constantly are like moving. So like, I like to be aggressive. So if that is a part of the game plan, I love that. So that sounds fantastic. Um, I mean, you can still have a long point with limited paint. It's just a matter of when you limit paint, you can't like, okay. When I was with the Saints still, and we played against NYX, I went out with 11 pods. Like, I'm sitting there just shooting a gap, just making sure that they can't breathe. Same thing against damage. I think I was going out with like 9 or 10 pods, something I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it's boring, but it's just one of those things that you have to do if you want to be competitive. But if it was only 4 pods, makes it interesting. Then it's even okay. Do you drop a pod so that your teammate has a fifth now? I don't know. So okay. So with show off pod dump. No, no, you just have to bonus ball those guys. Um, no, I love all the NYX guys. They're really good dudes. I know they seem like jerks, but they're really not. They're fun. So when you were at X Factor the week before Cup, Dynasty X Factor and level. So the thing with practice, I would actually prefer a practice like that. If I was level, because if you go out and you just stomp people and just put them into the ground, it doesn't help you as a player. Kind of like putting yourself in bad situations. I would rather go out and know what is really difficult to make, and what you can and can't get away with. But yeah, Serbia, dude, that's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, situationals, those are all things like, when you can know how to handle different situations against really amazing players like X Factor and Dynasty, then you know when you go and play a team that on paper is maybe kind of the same level as you, or maybe lower, or maybe a little bit better, you already know what it is that you need to do. So it just helps you as a player. So I would actually rather have a practice like that where you just get beat all day. You maybe only win 2 or 3 points all day, but you are learning constantly. And that's actually where for you guys to have a mental help. Um, so the whole thing is when you go into a practice, you can't go in and say like we're gonna win everything. If you get beat down, you don't scream at your teammates. You just go, okay, dude, like you were supposed to watch this. Like, why did you switch? Or hey, that's on me. I missed my shot. Or no, I definitely shot the dude to just bounce. Like it's practice paint. Things like that happen. Still retiring next year. That's the plan. Yeah, but it's just from pro. So it's not. I'm not leaving paintball. I'm still going to be playing. You'll still see me at a couple events. I'm still doing the channel. That's not going anywhere. Yeah. And then you do want to make sure that you are subscribed and all that too, because with AG Media, we're doing something. So I don't know when it'll be ready. But AG Media was filming our matches at World Cup, and we were going to do like a feature thing with me. So you guys have to stay tuned for that. But he shot a whole bunch of stuff, so that was really I appreciate him for doing that. They are constantly getting better. I think if they can stay together, that's a big thing. And because they've gotten better, that's why they got those impact practices. So same thing happened with the Kings. When I was with them, it was like you had to play like the bottom ranked teams, and like maybe a little bit higher or whatever. Um, yeah, it's just you have to just make the best of it. But then once you start doing better, all of a sudden, all these other top teams will say, "Oh yeah, we'll practice you now," or they won't try to charge you to practice them. I know of one team for sure. Well, two actually that will try to do that kind of stuff. Going from pro to semi-pro, what do you feel are the major differences? Um, I can't say that there was a huge difference. Uh, Personally, I don't really feel like gun battling was any easier necessarily or anything like that. Oh, I'm not going to tell you who tries to charge people. I'm not going to look. You can name all 20 pro teams. I'm not going to name who it is. I'm not going to air out their laundry. Um, go play pro, and then you'll find out who it is. So yeah, like I don't really feel like it was necessarily that much more easy. I don't know. Like I think it's just more it'll just spread rumors it's Revo and Uprising. Well, I mean, Uprising I think is always looking for money, so I'm not confirming or denying anything. um, but yeah, I can't really say there was a huge difference. I mean, we also played um uh what is it? Um oh, here, let me just type it in the chat for you. So it's just at how to play PB. Yeah, that's really crazy. Serbia, that's nuts. Um, um, now I got all off topic now. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And same thing. Hey, I'll go to Serbia. Sounds good. Let's go. Get me on a plane ticket. Yeah, I mean the competition was good. Oh, that's what it was. So in our bracket, I think like 3 or 4 of the teams that moved on to Sunday came out of our bracket. So it was a very difficult bracket. So it wasn't something that was hey, I'll go to Malaysia too. Let's go, man. Let's go. It was not an easy bracket. Like Fit was in our bracket. Um, Arsenal. It was a lot of. I'll go to Canada too. Hey, look, we just got to make it happen. That's it. I just don't want to go when it's really cold. That's just the only thing. I'm still from Florida, so I think the level of competition that at least we played against was definitely top level. Just because it was those guys that are like the top couple in the bracket. Like Killers are fifth overall. I play against those guys. They're a good team. And like Fit, we didn't play against, but they were in our bracket. The Titans were what is it? They won the California Minor. So like it's not like there's oh, sorry. And then there was Matty Kling plays with them, and he used to play with Dynasty and played with Expendables and some of those guys. So like there's players that are good players. It's just yeah. Yeah, Smitty's fantastic, man. Fly out to Florida to do a clinic. Fly out to Canada next summer. Hey, look, we just got to plan it out, man. That's all it is. So yeah. Well, hey, we are running up at 45 minutes right now. And I know I appreciate you guys jumping on with me, by the way, because I know get on their level. um I know that Spick and Span do theirs on Tuesday. Maybe I need to change it. I'm not trying to compete against them. I'm not trying to like steal viewers from them by any means. But it just happened that Tuesday worked out, and then yeah, so maybe I'll need to change it. But so, ooh, I don't know about the bottom two and the top two. I think it made for a really good match for semi-pro. Because it was if it was both of them were going to make it, then it's just like okay, well, who's going to walk away with more money? Um, but I think also for those teams that are in the bottom, it's like, okay, we need to really perform. Now I think it's European soccer does the bottom two, but I could be wrong about that. I don't really watch a whole lot of sports anymore. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Austin. Appreciate that, man. So yeah, so I am gonna sign off here because I need to start getting ready for bed and get up early, and I'm already gonna get back to the gym. I already was working out yesterday and today. So hit the gym. So usually what we'll be doing is it'll be every other live stream will be the free one, and then for the other live stream, it's just going to be members only. So yeah. So if you guys are interested, you know, definitely jump on. There's a bunch of different levels. So the watch, learn, and win. So whatever it is that you guys are comfortable with. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate all the support. Thank you to everyone that said hi at World Cup too. And yeah, so I guess I'll see you all later and talk to you. Yeah, go join. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks again.